And there was something that you were speaking to me about how sometimes these areas of tension are caused by a weakness somewhere else, which makes perfect sense. And again, like I feel it as a metaphor. So much of what I do with people has to do with how we use our minds. And this isn't just a mental thing. I'm talking about the mind as the experiencer of the, let's see, how do I want to say this? I don't see thought and emotion as separate because they go together. It's an energy, right? And so mostly, we live in this every day, just like we live in our bodies every day, but we don't really understand how they work. We don't really understand how our mind works to create our experience. And so we have all these misunderstandings about
Mhm.
what's making me feel the way that I feel. And it looks like it's because this bad thing happened or the numbers in my bank account are too low and therefore I feel bad. But there's this missing link in between there, which is what's happening inside of me, which is how we experience everything. And so what I've heard that mirrors what I know in this realm, in what you were speaking to, is learning about how my body works and how it communicates with me. But the principle of being with and relaxing and letting go
Yeah.
is so powerful in everything we do as humans.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's this book I read. It's called the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. It's not the Tibetan Book of the Dead, but it kind of talks about their tradition, the Tibetan Buddhism. And he talks a lot about clinging. And the clinging of the mind. So it's like we get really like caught on to things. So it's like I love this mug, like this is my favorite coffee mug. And and I love it so much, like I drink out of it every morning, but like if that coffee mug were to drop and break, if I'm clinging to it because I love it so much, I'm gonna be so sad, you know? It's like I'm gonna be so sad. I'm just gonna be broken down for like weeks because I love this mug so much. And that's a funny example. It's like an easy example, right? Um, but that shows it's like because I love the mug so much and I have so much attachment to it that once it goes, like, or I don't want to let it go, right? And then once it does go, it just kills me, you know?
Mm.
And that's clinging. Like we do that all the time with so many things, right? Like with people, we do it with possessions, with ideas, like our jobs, and like even our ideas of like spiritual beliefs. Like we're clinging to everything, right? It's um, and in that book, obviously, he talks about like that clinging is what keeps you suffering. And what's interesting is I found I'm sure he talks about it in that book, but like all these traditions, they talk about this. It's like that clinging that's happening here. It's like, oh, I love these things. I need it. I need it. I need it. That clinging is coming into your body. It's like a clinging of your nervous system. Your nervous system is like doing this. And then so that clinging of your mind is then coming into here. And so you're doing all this clinging all the time. And then you're wondering like, oh, why do I have all this? Why does my shoulders hurt? Right? Like, I don't know why my shoulders are so tense. It's like, well, you're clinging so much, right? And that honestly is the biggest lesson I've learned probably in my life. That that the nervous system is clinging because of what is happening up here or what's happened in the past, something we're holding on to. And then the letting go is the letting go of the nerves, but it's all one thing, right? So if you learn to let go up here, it's going to help you let go in here. But also if you learn to let go in here, it's going to help you let go in here. So when you work with systems that work with this letting go, whether whatever it is, it could be no system, it could just be you practicing that. You're really like starting to heal the body on a really deep level and heal yourself on a really deep level. Um, and there's and what surprised me is like the levels to it as well. Um, I've got a lot of release in my body at this point, but just realizing like, oh, there's so much more to go. And I'm sure like that's it. It's just, you just keep going, and that's the spiritual like evolution and path.